The man is now charged with murdering his girlfriend in West Conshohocken. 26-year-old Michael Dutkiewicz of Warminster turned himself in Sunday for the shooting death of 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest. Police found her along the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue, face down on the sidewalk, not far from her home. A neighbor told police the suspect was seen standing by his truck immediately after the shooting.
Just after midnight on May 18, 2025, the quiet of West Conshohocken was shattered. Neighbors awoke to the piercing sound of a woman's scream, followed by rapid gunfire. Moments later, the streets were filled with confusion. Residents peered from behind curtains, hearts pounding, trying to make sense of the chaos outside. Emergency vehicles arrived swiftly, but it was already too late. On the pavement lay a young woman, face down, unresponsive. She had fled her home in desperation, but hadn't made it far. Her name was Alyssa Rose Wiest. Alyssa was just 25 years old, bright, driven, and deeply loved by everyone who knew her. Hours earlier, she was a successful microbiologist with a promising future. Now, she was gone, taken in a burst of violence that no one saw coming. What makes this story especially painful is not just the loss. It's who she lost her life to. Someone she knew, someone she trusted, someone she'd shared her life with. As details unfolded, the truth left an entire community stunned. Have you ever heard of a case where someone's life was taken by someone they once loved? Share your thoughts in the comments. Welcome to the Dark Trace Crime Stories. Whether you're returning or joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. If you find value in stories that shine a light on justice and the lives behind the headlines, please consider supporting the channel by subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with others. Alyssa Rose Wiest was born around the year 2000 and spent much of her life in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. To everyone who knew her, Alyssa wasn't just another young woman. She was unforgettable, kind, brilliant, and full of joy. She had a way of making people feel important, valued, and heard. Friends describe her as someone who made every room feel warmer just by walking into it. Her laugh was contagious. Her energy, magnetic. Alyssa pursued science with a passion, studying at the University of Delaware, where she earned her degree before landing a role at GSK, a major pharmaceutical company. As a microbiologist, she was respected by peers and supervisors alike for her intelligence, precision, and work ethic. Outside of work, Alyssa was just as accomplished. She loved music, nature, and spending time with friends and family. Her life wasn't just successful, it was rich in meaning. She balanced her ambitions with deep empathy, a rare combination that made her truly stand out. There isn't much publicly available about her family, but the emotional outpouring after her passing tells a powerful story. She was deeply loved, and her absence has left a space that no one can fill. This is who Alyssa was. Not a statistic, not just another name in a headline. She was a daughter, a friend, a scientist, and a light in so many lives. At some point, Alyssa met 26-year-old Michael Dutkiewicz from Warrenton, Pennsylvania. Their relationship developed over 2 years, appearing outwardly normal to many who knew them. Like many couples in their mid-20s, they were navigating early adulthood together, careers, future plans, and the everyday challenges of a relationship. What happened behind closed doors, however, may have told a different story. While public information about their relationship dynamics is limited, court records revealed that Dutkiewicz had a prior conviction for disorderly conduct related to fighting just 1 month before Alyssa's death. This previous incident, while seemingly minor, would later be viewed as a potential warning sign that went unaddressed. Relationships rarely deteriorate overnight. Experts in domestic violence point to patterns of control, jealousy, and escalating conflicts that often precede tragic outcomes. Whether these patterns existed in Alyssa and Michael's relationship remains unclear from public records. But the violence that erupted that May night suggests underlying issues that had reached a breaking point. The presence of a suitcase filled with men's clothing found at the scene raises questions about the state of their relationship. Was someone leaving? Was there a confrontation about the future of their relationship? These questions would become central to understanding the tragedy that unfolded. The events of May 18, 2025, began inside Alyssa's home on the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue in West Conshohocken. According to police reports, at approximately 12:25 a.m., what may have started as an argument escalated dramatically when Dutkiewicz allegedly began firing at Alyssa inside her home. The physical evidence tells a harrowing story of Alyssa's final moments. Investigators documented a trail of blood leading from the interior of the home to the front door, which was found ajar. This grim detail suggests that Alyssa, already wounded, was desperately trying to escape the violence unfolding inside. Despite her injuries, Alyssa managed to flee her home. In the darkness, she ran down Moorhead Avenue, likely calling for help. She made it halfway down the block before she was struck by multiple gunshots to her torso and collapsed face down on the sidewalk. Neighbors, awakened by the commotion around 12:30 a.m., reported hearing a woman scream followed by several distinct gunshots. One witness looked out their window and saw a man standing beside a silver Ford F-150 truck parked near the scene. The man, later identified as Dutkiewicz, quickly entered the vehicle and sped away from the area. Another neighbor, hearing the gunshots, cautiously stepped outside and made the horrific discovery of Alyssa lying motionless on the sidewalk. This neighbor immediately called 911, reporting a shooting and a woman down with apparent gunshot wounds. Police arrived within minutes of the 911 call, finding Alyssa unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds to her torso. Officers immediately began life-saving measures while waiting for emergency medical services. Alyssa was rushed to Lankenau Hospital, but despite medical intervention, she was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The crime scene told a disturbing story. Inside Alyssa's home, investigators found clear evidence of violence: overturned furniture, blood spatter on the walls, and 5 bullet casings scattered throughout the living room. An empty firearm holster lay on the living room couch, a critical piece of evidence suggesting the shooter came armed and ready to use the weapon. In the driveway, detectives discovered a suitcase filled with men's clothing believed to belong to Dutkiewicz. This suggested a possible confrontation during a move-out or separation attempt, a known high-risk period in volatile relationships. The investigation gained momentum through technology. Area surveillance cameras captured portions of the incident, while automated license plate readers tracked Dutkiewicz's silver Ford F-150 leaving West Conshohocken at high-speed minutes after the shooting. This digital evidence created a timeline that placed him directly at the scene during the murder. Detectives quickly identified Dutkiewicz as the primary suspect based on witness descriptions, the vehicle information, and his relationship with Alyssa. Background checks revealed his recent disorderly conduct conviction from just a month prior, adding to the mounting evidence against him. By morning, police had issued an arrest warrant for Dutkiewicz, and his description and vehicle information were distributed to law enforcement agencies across the region. Less than 12 hours after the murder, facing the weight of evidence against him, Dutkiewicz turned himself into police, accompanied by an attorney. During processing, investigators noted what appeared to be blood on Dutkiewicz's clothing, which was collected for forensic analysis. The murder weapon, however, was not immediately recovered, suggesting he may have disposed of it while fleeing the scene. He was taken into custody without resistance and charged with multiple offenses, including first- and third-degree murder, as well as illegal possession of a weapon. The timeline of events was short, but the damage left behind was permanent. Alyssa had not only been taken from her home, she had been taken from her family, her friends, her colleagues, and a future that had barely begun. What makes this case even more devastating is the detail of her attempted escape. She ran. Despite being shot, despite everything, she tried to save herself. That image of Alyssa, wounded but fighting for her life, remains with many who followed this case. Moments like this remind us how quickly situations can turn. That even in the comfort of our homes, danger doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it arrives in familiar form, wearing the face of someone once loved. The tragedy of that night didn't just happen in a vacuum. It shook a community. It rewrote the lives of everyone who knew her. and it forced people to confront the terrifying truth that you can never fully know what's happening behind closed doors.
I'm actually standing in the neighborhood where Alyssa lives. She was found on the sidewalk just a few yards away. Today I spoke with her sister, who understandably so is not ready to address the public, but she did share with us that Alyssa was a vibrant person and she will be very missed. It's a normally quiet West Conshohocken neighborhood, but neighbors say on Sunday morning, the sound of screams rang through the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue. Montgomery County District Attorney's Office says it was 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest running out of her home after being shot multiple times. Officers administered first aid before she died at Lincoln Hospital. In a statement, Alyssa's family wrote, "Her bright spirit, boundless kindness, and the incredible promise she held for her future made her a beacon of hope and joy for all who knew her. Her future was full of endless possibilities, and her tragic loss leaves a void that is impossible to fill."
Following his surrender, Michael Dutkiewicz was formally charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and possessing an instrument of crime. At his arraignment, the judge denied bail, deeming Dutkiewicz a flight risk and danger to the community. The case is still in its earliest stages. Dutkiewicz is currently being held at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, awaiting his preliminary hearing scheduled for May 27, 2025, just days from now. The prosecution is in the process of building their case, gathering forensic evidence, and taking statements from witnesses. The community has responded with shock and grief. A candlelight vigil was held for Alyssa this past weekend, with hundreds gathering to remember the young scientist whose life was cut short. Her colleagues at GSK have expressed their devastation at the loss of such a promising talent. Local domestic violence advocacy groups have used this tragic case to highlight the dangers of intimate partner violence and the importance of recognizing warning signs. Resources for those in potentially dangerous relationships have been shared widely throughout the community. As the legal process begins, Alyssa's family and friends face the difficult journey of seeking justice while mourning their profound loss. The outcome of the case remains to be determined as the justice system takes its course. Alyssa's story is heartbreaking, but sadly, it is far from unique. Domestic violence affects millions every year, cutting across all races, ages, and economic backgrounds. It's a serious issue that continues to claim lives and devastate families. Statistics show that, in the United States, an average of 24 people per minute experience some form of abuse from an intimate partner. This can include physical assault, sexual violence, or stalking. These numbers are a stark reminder of how widespread and urgent this problem is. Many victims face a complex web of challenges that prevent them from leaving dangerous situations. Fear of retaliation, financial dependence, social pressure, or emotional attachment can keep people trapped. Additionally, abusers often exert control through manipulation, isolation, and threats, making escape even more difficult. Warning signs can vary, but some common indicators include changes in behavior, frequent injuries, withdrawal from friends or family, and controlling or jealous behavior from a partner. Recognizing these signs early can make a significant difference. Experts emphasize that domestic abuse is often a pattern of behavior rather than an isolated incident. It can escalate over time, sometimes leading to deadly outcomes if left unaddressed. Risk factors that increase the likelihood of violence include substance misuse, prior history of aggression, and stressful life events. While these factors don't excuse the behavior, they help professionals understand the situation better and provide targeted support. Victims frequently interact with healthcare providers, social services, and law enforcement before tragedies occur. This makes early intervention vital. When agencies collaborate and communicate effectively, they can identify risks and offer support to those in danger. Community awareness also plays an important role. People who know the victim can provide support, offer safe spaces, and encourage seeking help. Education about healthy relationships and conflict resolution skills can help prevent abuse before it begins. Programs that offer counseling, safe housing, and financial assistance for survivors have proven effective in helping people rebuild their lives. In recent years, some police departments have introduced specialized support for domestic abuse cases, improving response times and outcomes. Understanding the barriers victims face is essential. Fear, shame, and uncertainty often prevent victims from speaking out or seeking help. Creating an environment where victims feel safe and supported is critical for change. Alyssa's case reminds us all how important it is to stay vigilant, to reach out when something seems wrong, and to support policies and programs that protect those at risk. Alyssa's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of recognizing warning signs before tragedy strikes. Experts recommend remembering the 3 R's when concerned about potential domestic violence. Recognize the signs: controlling behavior, jealousy, isolation from friends and family, and verbal aggression often precede physical violence. Respond appropriately. Approach conversations about concerning relationships with compassion rather than judgment. Create safe spaces for honest discussion. Refer to resources. Know the domestic violence resources in your community, including hotlines, shelters, and legal aid. For those in potentially dangerous relationships, safety planning is crucial. This includes keeping important documents accessible, having emergency contacts, and knowing safe places to go if needed. The National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-799-7233 provides confidential support 24/7. Communities also play a vital role in prevention. Bystander intervention training teaches people how to safely intervene when they witness concerning behavior. Educational programs in schools about healthy relationships can help young people recognize red flags before patterns of abuse become established. If you know someone who might be in danger, what will you do differently after hearing Alyssa's story? Has this case changed how you think about relationship warning signs? Share your thoughts below.
Alyssa was very loved. You could see that love with this memorial right outside of her house, the last place she was seen alive. Despite her death, her parents are making sure she's never forgotten.
She was adventurous, she was goofy, she was fun, and then she was serious, all wrapped up in one person. She was the entire package.
A young woman with so much ahead of her. Alyssa Wiest was a microbiologist, a graduate from the University of Delaware. Her parents say their 25-year-old daughter was just beginning to blossom into greatness.
We always assumed that she was going to be our future CEO, that she was going to run the world. That girl was unstoppable and perfect.
Today, Alyssa's family is surrounded by pictures of happier times.
So grateful for all the love and support that we've gotten. It's just, none of it seems real yet.
As they're still grieving the loss of their youngest child, Nicole and Kurt Wiest are determined to keep their daughter's memory alive with a scholarship fund in her name.
We wanted to create the Alyssa Rose STEM scholarship to be able to carry on her name forever and give girls the opportunity to enjoy STEM as much as she did.
Making sure she's never forgotten while inspiring other young women is what is keeping them going.
Having her legacy live on, that's the main driver.
Alyssa's parents created a GoFundMe page to jumpstart that scholarship fund. Her funeral is tomorrow. Here in West Conshohocken, Yukari Nakayama, NBC 10 News.
Alyssa Rose Wiest's life was defined by brilliance, compassion, and promise. Her death, while tragic, can serve as a catalyst for awareness and change. Each time we share stories like Alyssa's, we create opportunities for recognition, intervention, and prevention. The young microbiologist who lit up rooms with her presence is gone, but her story illuminates the urgent need for vigilance and action. In courtrooms, community centers, and conversations between friends, the lessons of Alyssa's case can help save lives. As we conclude Alyssa's story, remember that behind every statistic is a human being, someone with dreams, talents, and people who love them. Alyssa was not just a victim. She was a scientist, a friend, a daughter, a light in the lives of many. If this story has impacted you, please consider supporting domestic violence awareness and prevention efforts in your community. Like, subscribe, and share this video to spread awareness. Together, we can work toward a world where promising young lives like Alyssa's are not cut short by preventable violence. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Dark Trace Crime Stories. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.